I just turned off while Chaser's mum tries to kind of get him settled down, and we don't hear a grizzle bum in the background through the whole video. And guys, this is my life. Snakes, my grandchildren, my daughter, and so on. So, you know, I apologise if that may annoy some people, but it's life at home, in my home. So, you know, I want to talk about, you know, Jack is out. He does stay in his enclosure while he's in shed, and I give him that, apart from that other video that I did with him the other day, where you could clearly see he was in shed. But, you know, I wouldn't ordinarily do that. And I only kept Jack out for that brief amount of time while I was actually doing that video as well. But Jack is out and about, and he's just been to the toilet, so he's just ready to go off and explore now that he's kind of gotten rid of that. But I want to talk about, you know, people often associate a snake that's going to bite you or do you harm as being a snake that doesn't like people. I don't. You know, do snakes like people? Oh yeah, they like people. And just because I think people have to try and always remember, a snake isn't defensive because they don't like you. They're defensive because they're scared. And it wouldn't matter whether you were a person, a cat, a dog, a bird. You know, of course a bird they would want to eat, but if they were fearful, they would bite whatever it is that they're fearful of, and not the fact that you are a human. And of course, you know, we are big, and you know, my guys do not associate a human as something that they need to attack in any way, because they're just so used to it. You know, I would never allow any human to hurt my snake in any way, because, and that's it. You know, the trust is gone, that pure and total trust is gone. And I have spent so much time developing that and letting my guys know that we as human beings are definitely not anything to fear. So, you know, it is, do snakes like people? As soon as I opened up Jack's door, his little head was out, and he was just looking at me, sitting there, just looking at me. And he wasn't trying to run away or go and hide back in his hide or disappear or... No, oh, hey, there you are, Mum. Basically, that's what I read from Jack at that point when I opened the door. So, you know, I don't always physically hold my snakes. And this is why I've created this space for them, so that they don't have to be physically in my hands. They want to explore. I mean, in a way, yeah, it's great to be able to hold your snake, and it needs to be done to maintain that bond and that trust that you have with your snake. But it doesn't mean that that's what you need to do with your snake every time you get them out. So I keep on preaching about giving them time off of you and out and stretching out. And I mean stretching out and exploring. They can't do that while you are constantly physically holding them. And sure, they'll eventually calm down in your arms, you know, is it calming down, or they just get worn out wanting to go off and explore. So they just stop and give it up and take a rest and say, oh, well, okay, I'm not able to get anywhere, so I'll just lay here quietly. You know, I would pertain that to a little snake that is getting used to you handling them, but I wouldn't put that down to my bigger snakes anymore. This is about them being comfortable around humans. And not just being comfortable around us humans, but really quite enjoying it. So, you know, this could be social snakes, friendly snakes. But this is also about, do snakes like human beings? They do. They do. And I see it all of the time with my guys. They're as curious about a new person that is here as they are about exploring. So, you know, I love that about them. You know, people just make them out to be non-thinking, instinctual animals. They run on instinct. No, they don't. They use their brain to think, see, put and add things together. How do I do this? How don't I do this? Will I go over there? No, I'll go over here. I'll go down here, even though I'm not allowed to, but I'll see if she'll let me today. So, you know, if they have the capacity, from what I see and have seen from my guys, to do all of that, and they've certainly got the capacity to like human interaction as well. Now, my Jack, he is just one cruisy dude, and certainly one of my cuddliest snakes. But, you know, he doesn't take off from closeness or me approaching him. He will actually come over and kind of look at me and say, oh, hi, how you doing? I'm right here, Mum. You know, like he knows that I'm checking on him and that I want to make sure that he's okay. Currently, of course, he's checking out the fact that Lacey's been up there, Lily's been up there, Jessie's been up there, and he can certainly smell all their scents. But, you know, he's just a puppy dog, that's for sure. You know, of course, Jack has his moods. You know, give Jack a feed, and he stays in that feeding mode, you know, for a good couple of days. But I know that's Jack, and I know that's what he's like, and I respect that. I leave him alone for a couple of days. Then I approach Jack, and I know that he's going to be fine. You know, it's still about, is this food or is this not food? But he's not so alert for food, and I can tell by his body language he's not flying out of there because he thinks he's going to get fed. He's coming out of curiousness and not to feed. And, you know, having watched my snakes for years and observing them has taught me an incredible amount of stuff, and most of it, believe me guys, is not from a book. It's just from personal experience. And I don't say that there aren't some brilliant books out there to read up on about snakes. There is. And some people have absolutely brilliant advice about them, but you know, you've got to equate that to what your snake is and their likes and dislikes, and tweak it. Don't just go buy a book and say, well, that's how my snake should be, that's how my snake should act, and or what they should have, and so forth. You decide what it is that you know about your snake, and don't ever let anybody tell you otherwise. So anyway, guys, I think Jack is wanting to go of course, up top, and he hasn't been up there for a while actually. But being such a big buffer that he is, he does tend to want Mum to give him a bit of a hand, but I'll let him go it on his own for a while and see what he wants to do. So guys, do snakes love people? You bet they do. And I'll never ever say it otherwise. You know, even Tessa, you know, who's extremely defensive because she's fearful. Well, I can say last night she's at that door doing a dance and I opened it up. I had no problem in actually getting her out. No hook, no nothing. She just came and crawled out onto my hand and away she went. So even that little defensive snake that she was is starting to realise, gee, that person's not so bad after all and nothing terrible actually will happen to me. And that's what I love to see. So Jack, what are you doing, dude? Hey? I'm just chilling out, Mum, like I always do. So guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, and say hello in a comment. Always love hearing from you. Did you want a drink of water? You might want a drink of water, so I'm going to go and top that up for Jack. Okay. Ciao.